Okay, so folks, if you can follow along, because we're going to create a new program, we're going to call it Double Double, and we're going to put a bunch of the concepts that we covered this morning together, and this will help explain it. So let me just change the font so it's easy for you to see what I'm doing. How's that? Is that easy to read? Okay, now, here's our program. Every time we create a new program, right off the bat, I want you to add your name, the date, and what the program is for. So this program is we're going to use double variables, so decimal numbers. So there's our comment. Now, this morning, we used the scanner to get input. So we're going to do that again. And to do that, we have to import java.util.scanner. And the key thing for everybody to remember is all of this is on the W3 Schools website, but you need to practice typing it in so that way you get proficient with it and you get fast. If you're switching between two sites and copying and pasting, it's going to slow you down. So import java.util.scanner. The only capital letter in that should be in scanner. And if I run this, nothing should happen other than the hello world. All I'm looking for is there an error? No, there isn't. Now, our plan for this program is that we're going to get numbers from the user, but to start with, we're going to simply test to make sure that we can get input from the user. So in our main method, so here's where I've added in the main method. I'm going to take, I need to create a new scanner object. So scanner is a capital S. And I'm going to call it input. In the example we saw this morning, it was my OBJ. To me, input makes a little bit more sense. So that's where I'm declaring the variable, and I'm going to instantiate it here. So it's a new scanner, and in the brackets, that's where I write system.in. So in the morning, we didn't type this at all. We just simply programmed it. So scanner has a capital S. Input is underlined in green because I haven't used it. I have the assignment operator, which is the single equal sign. The word new, scanner again, and you'll notice when I highlight scanner, it shows you where it's getting that from. And then in the brackets, the word system with the capital S dot in. And there's my semicolon at the end of the line. That ends the sentence. So I've got my scanner. I'm just going to modify, instead of hello world, I'm just going to say, hello, what is your name? Just making a little slight change there. Now, systemout.println, my next line after that, this is where I want to get the name of the person. So I'm going to string name. Notice string has a capital S. String name equals input dot next line. So the string variable, remember strings are complex data types, so they take, string is spelt with a capital S. The word name, again, it's underlined in green because I haven't used it yet. My assignment variable, input.nextLine is the method that will then get what the person types. And I'm just going to test my output. System.out.println. So be careful with the spelling. It's PRINTLN. And then quotation marks, welcome. And after the quotation marks, plus name. And then after the bracket, a semicolon. So I'm going to pause here, make sure everybody gets a chance to catch up. I'm just going to explain what happens. So when this compiles, when I press run, it will compile. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to import this class, the scanner class, and then it's going to run the main method. So it's going to create an instance of the scanner class. So basically that's going to start checking to see if the user types anything. System out println, so it's going to write hello, what is your name here? Then it's going to create a variable and it's going to take the information that the person types and assigns that to that variable name, and then it's going to go output welcome and use the value from that variable. So here's my program when I run it. Hello, what is your name? I type my name, I hit enter, and it says welcome, Ian. That's my name. Simple so far. Okay. We've done a bunch of things right now. We've got input from the user and we've got output. The reason we called this double is we're going to start doing some math. So let's create a new variable after our welcome. So it's called double, and we're going to call it number one. Now we're going to have three variables. So this is different from how I did it this morning. Instead of having three lines, double number one, double number two, double, I can create all three of them in one line. And every time you see green squigglies or red squigglies, hold your mouse over it and it will tell you. So it's telling me that I haven't used this. Well, that's okay, because I'm getting to that. So again, I've used the word double with the small d. You'll notice it's blue. The color coding helps figure out what things are for. Number one, comma, number two, comma, answer, semicolon. So I'm going to give the user a prompt. So systemout.println, please enter a number. Now, number 1, I'm going to assign that, so equals input dot next double. Now, really important troubleshooting, folks. I'm going to run this. I'm not done the program, but a really good strategy is as you write your program, stop frequently and check it, because then, right now I'm not doing anything with that, but I don't have any errors. If you have an error, that's when you stop and you go, okay, where's my error? I'm going to just show you an example. So this print line, I'm changing that to the number 1. And watch what happens when I run this. This is not spelled correctly, so it's going to cause an error. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, but it tells me that I have an error on line 15. So there's line 15, and it says cannot find symbol system out print line. Now, if I stretch this out, you can see the arrow is right before the print line. So that gives me a clue that system.out is probably fine. There's something wrong with this. So println, if I change that, that should solve my problem. So always read the error message. So I just created a new error. I deleted that semicolon. Same thing. So main Java 15. So line 15 is my error, and it even tells me it's expecting a semicolon. Oh, okay. Pop the semicolon in, and the program works. So on line 14, I've created 3 variables, number 1, number 2, and answer. On line 15, I've got a prompt for the user, please enter a number, and then I'm inputting a number. So I'm going to do the same thing. Now I could copy and paste, but I encourage you to type it out. System.out.println, please enter a second number. So this is number 2, which is, again, equal input.next double. So at this point, I have 2 numbers. So let's start doing some math on it. So answer is going to equal, we'll start with just adding. Number 1 plus number 2. So answer equals number 1 plus number 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do systemout.println. Now, notice how I'm structuring this. This is complicated. Number 1 plus, quotation marks plus, after the quotation marks, another plus sign. Number 2, and an equal sign. Let's test this and see if this works. Okay, hello, what is your name? So there's my name. Welcome, please enter a number. So I'm going to pick the number 4. Please enter a second number. I'm going to pick the number 3. 4.0 plus 3.0 equals 7.0. So it's adding my numbers. Everything is working. I want you to finish that program. You'll notice that because my font is so big, line 20 is wrapping to another line. I want you to do the same thing. So answer, we've got adding. Well, let's then set answer to equal subtracting. So what's going to happen when we start running this, just give me a second, is every time we run it, it's going to ask for some input. So 4, 3, and it's going to do the calculations. I'm going to stop there. I want everybody to get that for adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And if you need help, I'm going to come around.